Okay, so I want to hop on here. I just filmed, sorry, I just took my maternity photos. So, no, I don't dress like this every day, but I was taking my maternity photos and just thought I would do a quick video recap of pregnancy so far, mostly my second trimester, since I'm just about to be 29 weeks on Tuesday and it's currently Sunday. And I feel like it's just flying by. Just to briefly recap on my first trimester, it was a little bit rough. This was, something we planned for and have been trying for, but it still is a lot to take on physically and emotionally. And in my first trimester, I had a lot of fatigue, a lot of, um, I guess, nausea. I won't call it morning sickness. I mean, it did happen in the morning, but it also was, yeah, kind of prolonged throughout the day. And it kind of impacted me a lot psychologically because I wasn't able to continue my routine. I'm very much a not a resting person. I like to do a lot around the house and I like to work out. And so it kind of changed everything about my day to day. Only for, a short time. It wasn't all of the first trimester, probably weeks one or, whenever I found out I was pregnant, which was pretty early on, through maybe week 8 or 9, maybe even 10. 10 is when I started to slow down, and then I always read like when you hit the second trimester, it gets better. But I would say probably at least a good 6 weeks. So week 10 through 16 were probably the hardest. I would also deal with so much like extreme hunger and this feeling like of a bottomless pit kind of feeling in my stomach in terms of like being hungry, eating, and then being hungry again. And I felt really kind of out of control. So I think for, again, someone who has a pretty slightly rigid routine, I guess, it was definitely a learning curve to accept the season, give myself grace, change the way I move my body, let myself rest when I needed to, give in to some of the cravings, but without overdoing it, right? I wanted to pick my hard. So it would be hard sometimes to resist craving, but I knew it would be hard to deal with a lot of unnecessary weight gain in the long run in terms of after having baby and all of that. I did gain more than the recommended amount, and I want to say like I gained a bulk of it during my first trimester, just partially due to that being so hungry, feeling nauseous, and then not feeling like I could control exactly what I wanted to eat or what I wanted to do with my body. I would have loved to move more and eat healthier choices, but rather than that, I just needed rest. And then I was also just eating a lot of carbs and just kind of feel better things or whatever I was craving specifically. So second trimester was, like they say, the honeymoon period. I would say that's pretty accurate in my experience. I know not everyone has the luxury to feel better in the second trimester because of various reasons, including like ongoing nausea. So I can't imagine how it would feel like dealing with that throughout the whole pregnancy. My heart really goes out to you because women, we have so many responsibilities already, whether you're working or caring for other children or just living life. It's really difficult to kind of continue normally when you're in that state. Um, First trimester, it's like you hardly even see that you're pregnant. So it's like, really, are you really feeling all that if you don't know, right? But when you know, you know. But the second trimester, of course, I was showing more. I got my energy back. I was able to start working out a little bit and have a little more energy to do things around the house. So you're not as big as you would be in the third trimester, and then not as sick as you may have been in the first. So take advantage of that if you can. Also, sleeping was pretty good, except for towards the end, around 26, 27 weeks. It got a little more uncomfortable having to turn over, and I do have a pregnancy pillow, which I highly recommend. It's definitely a big help to have one in terms of getting comfortable because you aren't recommended to sleep on your back, and of course can't sleep on your stomach, so that made it a lot more comfortable. So that's definitely high on my list. I also have like a belly support band that I got, but I don't wear it as much as I thought I would. Maybe now in this third trimester I will, but if you deal with like pain or, stuff with your back, it's probably helpful to have that additional support. And been kind of helping my sister plan my baby shower, so that's fun. It's also been the holidays, so it's pretty much a very busy time of year. So things are moving really quickly. Pregnancy is not like always on my mind other than when I feel like uncomfortable doing something. Whereas I feel like there's been stages where it was like it's interesting because you want to just like live your life. It's a long time to be pregnant for essentially 10 months. So to be hyper focused on everything about pregnancy is, is not always the best thing to be doing, I guess. Um, you want to kind of live somewhat of a normal life too. I know a lot of people deal with like the changes and the anticipated changes of motherhood, and I have a 15-year-old, so while I do not remember the newborn stage so vividly, I do know how quickly um, time flies and that these stages only last 6 months or a year, and so they're constantly, you're having to pivot in terms of parenting and what it means to be a parent to a child of that age. At age 4 and 5, you might have full control over what they're wearing to school, who they're around, hanging out with, versus in high school. Now, my daughter, is kind of veering out and making her own friends and having her own schedule, and I'm helping facilitate that. So you're always pivoting as a parent. And where was I going with that? Anyway, so I think I have a different perspective on it, I think, this time around. Not looking forward to the lack of sleep. That's a whole other story, and we'll deal with that, I guess, when we can. So trying to look at the bright side. I'm going to get as much sleep as I can while I can. Hopefully enjoy a few little things to myself, whether it's like workouts or enjoying coffee quietly or going to the coffee shop or something. Yeah, so second trimester overall was good. I did deal with some heartburn and a lot of like indigestion. I'm going to get, I think it's called Wonder Belly. It's on Amazon. I want to get that because I was using Tums sparingly. I don't like to take too many medications or things like that. So, but when I really needed it, I would. I also noticed like when I focused on less like carb heavy diet, and like certain things like beans or oats, which would like expand and make me feel more uncomfortable and give me gas sometimes. When I removed those things, it made it a little more comfortable. So definitely try and keep tabs of what foods make you feel, what foods make you feel bloated or uncomfortable, and try to avoid those, because I'm definitely feeling less and less room in my stomach now. So I have to really be aware of that, or you end up paying the price of like severe acid reflux, or just discomfort in general. There are times where I feel a lot of tightness. I don't know if it's like Braxton Hicks or if I just ate too much, but that's also something I dealt with in the second trimester. Also, eating smaller meals has been key for me, because if I eat a lot at one time, it feels really uncomfortable again with less room in your stomach. So that's something I've heard some people, and I experienced this too, some weeks like where you had reduced hunger. And I think your body's kind of like accommodating to that, right? Knowing there's less room in your stomach, you might have a fluctuation in your hunger. Definitely big difference from my first trimester, which I was ravenous. So, yeah, going into my third trimester, I hope to do more of the fine tuning, getting my hospital bag ready, getting baby's stuff ready so that we're not scrambling to buy things. And I'm gonna have my baby shower next month, so that's really exciting. Yeah, and I think that's everything. I would love to hear your experiences if you're currently pregnant, where you are, and how it's going for you. And I will see you next time. Bye.